If you're supporting an older parent or loved one, even just a little, then you're already on the aged care journey. Caregiving doesn't usually start with a formal system. It starts when you notice your loved one struggling a little. You start helping more with shopping, cleaning, or appointments. And then one night you're lying awake thinking, what happens next? How do I get help? Am I doing the right thing? I've worked in aged care for more than 30 years as a nurse and advisor and a guide for families just like yours. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps to accessing home care, from that first phone call all the way to getting actual support. And once you understand the process, it becomes so much easier to stay in control and avoid the stress that comes when things get missed. The first step is informal care for most families. Aged care doesn't begin with an assessment, it begins long before that, with the small, everyday things we do to help. Let me ask you something. Do any of these sound familiar? Ordering groceries, driving your parents to appointments, cleaning or tidying when you visit, mowing the lawn, preparing or dropping off meals, putting medications into dosette boxes, hanging out the washing or changing the linen. If you're doing any of these things, you're already part of the aged care journey. You just haven't called it that yet. This is what we call informal care, and it's the first real stage. Recognizing it early and planning ahead is what helps people to stay independent. So, when is the right time to take the next steps? And how do you know that it's time to get formal care involved? Honestly, when you start asking yourself, how much longer can I keep doing this? What will happen if something happens to me? Or even, what happens if I'm not there today? That's your sign. The best time to explore options is before you hit a crisis. Because once you hit a crisis, often the options are taken away because the wheels of aged care turn slowly. The first formal step is a referral to my aged care. Anyone can make a referral, you, your loved one, a GP, any other healthcare professional. Even a neighbour can make a referral to my aged care. This first step is also a screening process. This is the thing that most people don't realise. While your referral can be done online or over the phone, either way, you are being screened from the very first sentence on the phone or from the very first line in the referral. The words that you use determine what type of assessor you get, what services they will approve, and how long you're going to wait for the assessment. So you need to prepare for this call. Otherwise, you could be caught off guard and forget key information. It's so important. I've done another whole video on preparing to talk with my aged care. I'm going to link it in the description below. I would also strongly advise that during this referral, your first contact with my aged care, that you appoint a primary representative. This is somebody who can speak to my aged care about your situation, who can get updates and help advocate. It doesn't give this person the ability to make decisions on your behalf. It's not the same as a power of attorney. But aged care is a complex process, and two sets of eyes and ears are better than one. The next step is assessment. Once you've been screened, if you're eligible, which depends on the answers you gave, you'll be contacted for an aged care assessment. This can happen in person or it can happen over the phone, and it could take anywhere from a few weeks to many months, depending on how urgent your case is viewed from the information that was taken down by my aged care or submitted to my aged care during that referral. You might well have heard of the ACAT team or the RAS assessors. This has all changed now, and there's just one assessment team, but not all assessors have clinical backgrounds. Some of them are nurses or allied health professionals, but most are general assessors who can only approve lower level support. So if your needs are more complex and your first assessor isn't clinically trained, you may have to wait for a second assessment by somebody who is. This is why getting the screening and the first conversation right is so important. Here are my tips for a successful assessment. Firstly, prepare. You need to know more than the assessor about your needs and be able to communicate this. I've done a video on how to prepare for an assessment, and there's a checklist that you can download too. Number 2, be honest about what life is like on a bad day, not a good one. Older people are often too polite or too proud during the assessment. They say things like, I can get by, or I'm doing okay. But unfortunately, that means missing out on support that's actually needed. Number 3, bring a support person if you can. Having somebody there to advocate for you can help ensure that all of the important information is explained to the assessor. Number 4, ask for respite care approval. Even if you don't think you need it now or ever, it gives you flexibility in the future. And truly, you never know what can happen, either to you or to your family member who you may be relying on for care. Number 5, ask to be approved for residential care as well. This is just a backup. You don't ever have to use it. It never expires. But if you ever needed it, you won't have to wait for an assessment again. So the next step is approval. After your assessment, you'll receive a letter from My Aged Care. This letter is going to tell you if you've been approved for CHSP, which is entry-level services, if you've been approved for a home care package, which could be level 1 to level 4, or possibly even both. You might have been approved for CHSP while you're waiting for your home care package to be assigned. I hear far too often from families calling me who are stressed because they've been waiting for an aged care assessment for their loved one, and then suddenly they receive a letter and they discover that the assessment has already happened. And even though they were a primary representative, the assessor did the assessment either by phone or even possibly in person and didn't get the true picture from the older person. So remember, if the letter you receive from My Aged Care doesn't reflect what you expected, or if you feel that your loved one's needs have been misunderstood, you can contact My Aged Care and request a reassessment. But it will take time, so it's always better to try to get it right the first time. Now, with the approval letter, if you've been approved for CHSP, the letter is going to contain referral codes for all of the different services that you've been approved for, and you can now start looking for providers for those services. Have a look at my videos on CHSP. It can be easy to get approved for, but tricky to get delivered. Now, if you've been approved for a home care package, congratulations. You are now on the national waiting list. So it doesn't mean that care starts now. It means you're waiting for a package to be assigned to you. Now, this could take anywhere from 2 weeks to 12 or more months, depending on your priority. So you can see how important those first steps are to the outcome of your aged care services. The next step is the assignment of your home care package. So once your package is ready, you're going to receive another letter advising that your home care package has been assigned. This letter will have a referral code, and this is what you will give to the home care provider that you choose. From the date of assignment, the date on the letter of assignment, you've got 56 days to choose a provider and to start getting your services delivered. You can request an extension of 28 days if you just can't get it done in time. Now, if you miss that deadline, panic, but don't panic. You need to call My Aged Care as soon as possible and you will go back into the queue. You're not going to the bottom of the queue, but you will wait again. So please keep an eye on your MyGov messages and the mail, and don't delay when your home care package assignment letter comes through. The next stage is finding a home care provider. I'm not going to go into too much detail here because, again, I have a whole separate video about this. But the basics: look beyond just the hourly rates. You need to check their fees too. At the moment, there are package management fees and care management fees. And after the 1st of July, there will only be the care management fees. But the hourly rates are going to change. It's important to work out the actual number of hours of care that you're going to be able to get based on what you need. The other thing to look out for is to decide if you want to be provider managed or self-managed. Certainly there are values in being self-managed, and you often get more hours of care and you have more choice and flexibility. However, you do need to be able to manage your individual service providers who are delivering the services to you. So if you're feeling up to that, self-management might be a way to go. Keep in mind, there will be still some fees because you must have a home care provider between you and the government. So there will still be fees even if you choose self-management. Now, you only have one home care provider, so it's worth doing your research to get the right one. But it is quite simple to change providers if you've decided that the provider is not working for you. I will be doing a video on how to choose a home care provider soon and how to change home care providers. So please subscribe so that you know when those videos come out. The financial assessment is another piece for home care packages. So once your package is assigned, you will also need to complete a Centrelink income assessment. This assessment determines whether you need to contribute towards the cost of your care and how much. There's videos on the channel about how to do this, so I'll link those in the description below. So let's quickly wrap up the home care journey. You start by helping more. This is informal care. And then you reach a point where more support is needed. At this point, you call My Aged Care, you make a referral, and you go through a screening process to determine eligibility and what type of assessor is going to visit you. Next, you have a home care assessment. This can happen in person or on the phone. This assessment determines what type of care that you will be approved for. Next, you'll receive an approval letter. This will tell you whether you've been approved for Commonwealth Home Support Program or CHSP, or perhaps you've been approved for a home care package. If you've been approved for Commonwealth Home Support Program, then you can begin to receive your services straight away as soon as you find a provider. If you've been approved for a home care package, you are now on the waiting list for a home care package to be assigned. Once you receive the letter to say that your home care package has been assigned, you choose a provider within 56 days and begin your services. Remember that a financial assessment is required for home care packages. Understanding each step gives you more clarity, more choice, and more confidence. And the sooner you understand the system, the better prepared you are to get the right support when it's needed. I hope this video has helped you to understand the steps and what's important at each stage to get a home care package. Please, if this video has helped, subscribe to the channel. It means that others can more easily find this information too. And if there's a topic you'd like me to cover, there's a link in the description below where you can let me know, and I'll do my best to cover all of the requested topics in the coming weeks and months.